Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing another YouTube video. This one isn't going to be a tutorial, but this time it's just going to be kind of a review watching a game that I played on the ladder versus Uthermal. I thought it was a kind of interesting game. I don't actually remember how I opened, but I just know that there was some interesting things about this game, so we're going to watch it. Alright, well I'm just going to let it play through a little bit. I played Uthermal quite a few times on the ladder. We usually have pretty good games. He's a very, very good player, and gives me a really hard time for the most part. He's one of the better Terrans out there in the foreign scene. But yeah, I've been really trying to make this Mass Nexus style work. Like, I gotta say it's not really a viable style. More so just an enjoyable style to play. It's just when you start sending mass sellouts across the map to do wave upon wave, it's a pretty good time. You don't really have to micro. Kind of takes the ease off everything. But anyways, I went for a standard opening. I think I did Cyber into Nexus. That sounds more standard. Seeing that I scouted over here after Gateway, tried to block his CC, he blocked it, or he got it down, sorry. But yeah, everything's looking standard so far. Probably gonna see a Reaper.
Glory to the Daemon.
But usually if the Reaper, yeah, the Reaper's right there. The Reaper usually gets here about the time that the Adept finishes, so. You just kind of want to stick around. You don't really want to send this Adept across the map if the Reaper's on this side of the map. Otherwise, he'll go in and kill like many probes. Also, you can kind of zone him out a little bit and put down your tech a little bit earlier if you keep the Adept back, depending on how well you micro and zone out the Reaper, of course. But I think I actually get the kill here, which is very... No, it got out. I remember now. Yeah, that was insane. I could have handled that a little bit better. So I go Robo. I'm thinking this is going to be a Colossus drop build. But since I have a Stalker out, I will be sending this Reaper across the map. I'm going to actually put it on regular time speed now, just because we are getting kind of into the game a little bit. And here you can do a little trick with the depths. Whenever you see a Widow Mine, you can shade it, walk when it's about 10% left before it teleports, then activate the Widow Mine. I don't recommend you trying this unless you have some kind of practice with it versus like the unit test map or something. And trading this Adept for that Widow Mine, I don't know what I was thinking here. It's not a good trade for me because losing... I'm actually going to turn on the music a little bit. Losing this position right here makes it so like it's hard for me to know if he's gonna do some random push out. So you kind of want to keep this Adept here alive and to manage the map a little bit, because now this whole map is open and I have no idea what's gonna happen. But seeing that I saw Widow Mine, I think I kind of just presumed he was gonna go Widow Mine drop, which is probably only right 30% of the time. A lot of players like to just build one Widow Mine and then transition. Widow Mine drop has kind of been dealt with for a while now. Like, people know how to kind of deal with it and have pretty good responses versus it. But yeah, so since I saw the Widow Mine, I took an early third base, built my robotics bay. I was gonna go for a robotics bay regardless of what I scouted, but just keep warping in with my single gateway as much as you can. If you're playing StarCraft with a single gateway with the third, you have to make sure you maintain your warp gate production, because if he does attack you and you didn't keep producing units, you're just gonna die. It's already very greedy regardless, just producing off of one gateway, so keep that in mind. Server gets across the map. I go basically nothing so far. Oh, I see the third CC, so that's gonna prompt me to take a fourth base. This isn't always the correct response. There is some weird timings Terran can still do up a 3cc, so this is still kind of a gamble from me. But Uthermal's a really good player, so I took the gamble. And actually, my 4cc Nexus didn't go down yet. I thought I put it down earlier. But I can kind of play with less gateways since he went for the fast 3cc. Also, I noticed something down here. I didn't actually ever look at it. Let's see what it was. Yeah, so he had a Liberator down here. I didn't actually ever identify it. I saw it on the minimap, I didn't see what it was. But this observer will see it, I believe. And I set myself up, yep, so now I see it. See it's a Liberator. So I just need one Stalker here.
Your probes are under attack.
And yeah, I'm just probing up, putting my gateways finally. These gateways are a bit late. But I see a siege tank, I see his racks in a weird position like this. So when I see this racks here, did I ever actually look at it?
Research complete.
I want to confirm if I actually saw it.
Your probes are under attack.
Wait, did I see it? Sorry, I'm a professional observer.
Research complete.
I just see things so quickly. It zooms right past me.
I'm here.
I look at the observer at some point.
Your probes are under attack.
Let's go to normal. Yeah, so I see this racks here, and that tells me that he's going mech. And from here, I can just mass bases everywhere. Versus mech, you don't really want to be equal bases. If you're equal bases, the chances are you're going to take a worse fight, because the strongest thing against mech is just constant reinforcement of zealots, or just a Protoss army. Like, in a straight up fight versus straight up fight, they should usually win, I feel. Terrans will say other, but I feel like mech is pretty strong, especially on this map. So fast forward a little bit. I don't think he has like any information at all. Yeah, he hasn't really scouted me at all. Terran players. They just do their thing and then complain about balance. It's a normal thing. Don't need scouting information here. So yeah, since I know it's mech, my strategy this game is to go for like lots of warp prisms. So I put down 3 robos. And I'm just gonna keep spamming zealot drops is, I believe, what I go for this game, which is a very fun style. And from this situation, you notice I'm taking a lot of Nexus. This is a very strong advantage for me, because by having all these extra Nexus, if he does like a Hellion run by, and I lose like a whole mineral line, it's really hard to come back from that situation if you don't have these extra Nexus to supplement the losses. So when you're playing against mech, just try to take as many bases as you can. Now I start the Warp Prism production and start getting my production going in general with gateways, adding Templar archives. Terran's doing his thing, adding 3 CCs himself? Wow. Okay, so he's trying to copy me, but a little bit. I actually didn't notice. Oh yeah, I did notice this drop. Okay, this was the drop from way earlier, and there's Hellions there. So I did take quite a bit of losses here. Let's see, how do I... Workers killed, I lose 19 workers here. But if you look at the units tab, it didn't really affect me. So I can just easily probe this base back up and get back to producing units pretty quickly. I think his income's still gonna be higher than mine. Yeah, just because he's Terran, and Terran gets meals. It's much better than Chrono Boost. Just up 20 workers, but still have less income. That's just normal. But yeah, so this composition is going for a lot of siege tanks and hellbats. This is gonna make my Warp Prism drops even way more effective. Like if you're playing mech against mech, and you see lots of Cyclones, Widow Mines, you can't really go for this Warp Prism style. The Warp Prisms are just gonna die. You're gonna dissolve your units inside them. But when it's just mostly siege tank and hellbats, then this style becomes 5 times more effective. Like you should never lose if you have like 4 Warp Prisms full of Zealots versus this army that the Terran has, because you just drop on top of the siege tanks and it all dies.
Your probes are under attack.
I really don't care about the Hellions moving across the map at all. Like, he can do all he wants with that. Any probe loss is kind of negligible. I have lots of probes. I have 100 probes right now. And my income is finally higher. Let's see. So some things I could have done better this game is I could have had like more Zealots over here on the minimap. If you look at my mouse on the minimap, I could have Zealots here, I could have this watchtower. Don't really need this watchtower on the left-hand side, but having this watchtower would have been huge. My observer spread is pretty good, but I am missing information from a whole entire lane. And these stalkers, the reason why I blink in here like this, it's very risky of a play, but the stalkers at this point are kind of fodder. I have a lot of resources. I don't really need them. I need a better army composition to trade more favorably versus my opponent. And that's kind of why I just throw these all away.
We embrace the glory of twilight for hire. Mineral field defeated.
So, I didn't expect him to actually go Liberators here.
Upgrade complete.
The Liberators kind of threw me off a little bit because they're actually very good against my Warp Prism style. But not quite as good as like Cyclones Widow Mine, so you can still make it work. We have to be a lot more diligent about how you place your army units. How many Warp Prisms am I at? I'm at 4 Warp Prisms though, so I might start doing some. I think I'll wait for 6. Especially if you're gonna drop the main base, you kind of want to have like at least 4 Warp Prisms to make sure you actually get Warp Prisms in. So yeah, load them up. Accidentally load the Colossus. Don't want to do that. Although, it probably wouldn't matter. The Colossus is kind of worthless here, to be honest. And you don't want to unload all the Zealots. You kind of want to single file line them, like going into multiple bases. Like you want to drop half of them at this base, half them in the main. And then once you're in the main, depending on what he has, like if he has Liberators, I should actually probably be warping in probably Stalkers with some Zealots. Maybe like 4 Stalkers and the rest Zealots would have been good here. And I think I kind of was a little bit late on warping in the Stalkers. Yeah, so I only had enough supply to warp in 1 Stalker, so these Liberators just kind of killed my Warp Prisms. Something I could have done better as well is I could have spaced out my Warp Prisms a bit better. They were a little clumped up. I should have just kept targeting this planter. I think it would have died much sooner. I think I still get it. Yeah, I get it.
We embrace the glory of battle. I return to serve.
Okay, sleepy. Don't mind me. But yeah, and you just keep trying to take bases as much as you can. Keep your economy going. As you can see, like I'm just trying to deplete him of all his resources. It's a game of attrition. it's really easy for me to remax. It's really hard for him. The only difference is that his army value size is gonna be way higher. So like it's gonna be hard for me to take a favorable engagement, but like as long as I keep taking engagements repetitively, eventually I'm gonna get that favorable engagement. And that's kind of the goal here. Yeah, so since he has all these liberators, I can't really drop. The Thors also kind of counter my style a little bit with the War Prisms, but there is still use that I can get all these War Prisms, and it's going to be like just harassment-based plays and just avoiding his army. Essentially, if he's attacking me like this, and I don't feel like I could take a favorable engagement in the means of I'm maybe going to kill 4 units and he's going to kill my whole army, that's what this would look like if I went on top of this. Unless I went like right here, but the Liberators were kind of... His army was all positioned relative to the Liberators, but there's no way of knowing that. But yeah, if he's attacking you, you just base trade. You have all these extra bases. You have a lot more options than your opponent does. And if you can get on top of his production, you kind of just win the game. Because he can't reinforce anything that he loses. That's kind of indecisive, I believe, though. So I'm doing this harassment, which is really good. It kind of bought me a lot of time. Like he's just sitting there. He's kind of making a few mistakes, to be honest. He's just playing a bit slow, but so am I. This is my warm-up game, I believe. Do I take this engagement? Ooh. This is gonna look ugly. Not sure why. I guess it was okay. Like, I'm super rich, and I'm in his production line a little bit. I mean, with a single DT, at least. This DT is going to save the world. But, I mean, as long as I deplete this ground army, a Warprint of Stalkers will clean the Liberators, so it's okay. I'm producing off of a lot of gateways. So it's very easy for me to reinforce my army. Especially on this side of the map. Like, he has a mech-based army, has to walk all the way across here. There's units in his production line, which is going to throw him off a little bit too. So he's going to lose this army, and he can't afford to lose a whole army. He needs to be more preserved. And this game goes on for a long time after this. So I finally got the Stalkers warped in, but it's a bit late on this side of the map. And he clears this, which is fine. Any damage I do at this point is good for me. I could probably trade at a 5-to-1 ratio, like giving up 5 units for one of his, and that would be okay for me. Just based upon like my income is really good, and I have a lot of reserves. But yeah, I was really slacking with this side of the map over here. I'm just constantly trying to trade, like I told you. All these engagements are looking really bad for me, and I could have honestly done a much better job about trading more efficiently. But the harassment is making up for a lot of it. Like, I'm getting a lot of value from this harassment. A lot of attention is being spent over here. Do I end up blinking on this? Oh no. I think I blink on this. You don't want to blink on this. Yeah, I should have probably been engaging right here with these Stalkers. That way, like, if there is an army that comes in and I can't fight it, I can just blink down to here, and it splits his attention even more. Ooh, okay, thank God I didn't actually blink on that. It's getting to a point where, if you look at the units lost, I've been trading a bit way too inefficient, and he's starting to stabilize quite a bit, so at this point I'm thinking about how can I compensate for the armies that I've been throwing away, and apparently my answer was I'm gonna do a mass Archon drop on top of his Thors, I believe. Which is not the answer. I can tell you right now, this is not a good play. But wait, did I not go on top of his? Okay, apparently I didn't go on top of his main army. They're gonna go fight a planetary. Why not? Let's go. And this army, yeah, let's look at the units lost tabs getting even worse for me, but my income is still far superior. These DTs are kind of worthless, but whatever. And as he's taking all bases over here, like I already have these bases over here, so it's okay. As long as I get a base, I can trade 2 bases for one of his, and it's okay. I think I actually lost 3. This is kind of a half base, so I lost 2.5 bases, and I think I do finally get this base. Oh, did he not kill this base? I don't think he actually killed this base. I can't actually fight there either. Oh no. How did I win this game? Look at my money though. I have so many minerals. Okay, so I do lose that base. Well, at least these probes survived. I always love probes. Probes are my favorite unit in StarCraft. Whoa, did that Immortal just kill a Liberator? What just happened there?
Is under attack. Mineral field.
Oh, okay, I was like really confused. Oh, Blink DTs are surprising. I don't even have Blink yet. I forgot Blink for my DTs. Okay, well, if these DTs had Blink, they would have completely massacred his army. Oh my god. I just saw so many units there. I went from like 200 supply to 130. But I'm already back to basically being maxed. I just keep taking bad trade after bad trade, but that's okay. I'm still rich. I have all the money in the world. More zealots, I need more gas. Oh, yeah, so tomorrow I'll be putting my computer together. I know I've been saying I'm gonna do it for a while. I have all the parts, I just need a screwdriver. Been waiting on that screwdriver for a couple of days now. But it'll be nice when I'm running that 3950X. It's gonna be great. I'll try to play on the high graphics. I don't know. I might just settle with medium graphics just because the game just looks a lot easier to look at.
Your probes are under attack.
It always feels really good when you kill Planetary because I feel like Repair is so broken in StarCraft. Yep, just transfer the workers to the new bases. I really need to do something about his bases at this point. Like, he's starting to mine pretty well again. I should probably actually take the base to the far south as well. What do I do here? How did I end up breaking him? There's so many Liberators. And obscene. So, like, if you're ever in this situation, if you can deal with the ground-based army, then the Liberators aren't so scary. But when the Liberators have a ground-based support, it's so hard to break it. Oh my god, I just blink on it. I can't believe I just blink on this. Wow. Oh, it worked because he didn't have a ground-based army. Like I said, you need a ground-based army to support this, otherwise you can beat the Liberator-based army. And from here I should just jump on top of his production. If we look, he doesn't really have anything here. He has an army here though. This is a tough call because if I go up here I win the game. But it's hard to know this. Especially when I don't know the size of this army. So I took the safer route, which is okay too. I felt very comfortable here because I knew his army was split. Like I knew he had a good portion-sized army here and a good portion-sized army here, but it's a very immobile army. So I'm not gonna collapse this way because this army has a lot of like defensive setups and a ramp. But this army over here is in the open, and I know it's like at least like around this area, because right now he's scared that I'm gonna collapse on one of his armies, so he wants to make sure his armies are both in position to engage at the same time whenever it seems necessary. So I'm just sitting here reinforcing. Zealots are great here. Just lots of zealots, and I should win the game from here. Well, I mean, I know I win the game, but spoiler alert, I think you all kind of knew.
Field depleted. Mineral field depleted.
So yeah, I see the size of that army, and that army actually looks a little scary. So I'm just testing the waters a little bit, sending some DTs. I'm splitting his attention. So I split his attention before I take the engagement, because that means the timing of how he's going to engage is going to be a little bit more likely to be distorted. So I'm going to be a lot more efficient in this trade. Like, although like I'm not expecting perfect efficiency with these DTs, like I don't think these should get value. But I didn't know if this was a planetary or not. I thought this might be guarded. I knew I'd get value over here if he sent anything here, but I didn't know about this base being so vulnerable. So his attention got extra split. Like if we look at his vision right now, yeah, he's looking at nothing, and he has so he's forced to lift this off. He has to manage this stuff over here.
Our SCVs are under attack.
Is upon us.
But yeah, that should about do it. That's how you beat mech as Protoss. My style, at least. And that's just Uthermal being Uthermal. Always a pleasant person in the ladder to play against. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review of my game versus Uthermal. If you have any suggestions, if you have anything to say, any feedback, let me know. I would love to hear it. And yeah, you can catch me streaming every night usually. I usually take maybe one day off every week or two. I play too much StarCraft. But yeah, thank you all again.